Welcome, and in today's episode you will learn about the new queer theatre in Sydney, Fruitbox. Welcome and welcome back to LOTL and our series Queer Conversation. In today's episode you will meet Sean and Maddie, co-founders of Sydney's first queer theatre company Fruitbox. Sean and Maddie just launched the RIPE development program, looking for writers and actors to produce plays for the upcoming WorldPride 2023. Welcome, Sean and Maddie.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Tell us about Fruitbox Theatre. When did you start?
Fruitbox Theatre launched 2 months ago. We're a new queer theatre non-profit based in Sydney, and as far as we know, we're Sydney's only operational queer theatre company. So we've been running for a very short amount of time, but we've already had a really great response from the industry and the queer community more broadly.
What about the name Fruitbox?
Yeah, so we were looking for a name that encapsulated the silly campness in the queer community that was referential to queerness but also didn't take itself too seriously.
Yep.
And so we were pulling the word fruit, which has historically been a word used against gay people and queer people, and we wanted to reclaim that and make it something fun and celebratory.
Yeah.
And yeah, hence Fruitbox.
Hence Fruitbox. And Fruitbox, it's a medley of different things. That's what we want to do. We want to represent a really broad spectrum of the queer community and all its nuance. Lots of different fruits.
Your background in theatre?
Yeah, well, Sean directed me several years ago in a play in the Mardi Gras Festival, so that was kind of the beginning of our creative relationship.
Yeah. So we've both been acting, directing, producing for a number of years, and both been theatre kids since we were very young. But this project that we worked on a few years ago together as part of Mardi Gras was called Orlando, and it was an adaptation of Virginia Woolf's book, and it was such a beautiful creative dream to work on, bringing together all these queer people to tell stories and have fun together. And the final product really reflected that whole process, which was just collaboration and catharsis through storytelling, which really inspired this journey that we've ended up on. So that play's really started as the focal point for what brought us here. Yeah,
and speaking as an actor in that process, it was very cool to be part of working on a production that was Orlando as a book and as a script has a lot of queer themes embedded in it, but not always expressly addressed. So for a 100% queer cast and crew to then kind of project their own readings and their own interpretations and draw out those themes, we have effectively queered the script. And that process was incredibly cathartic, I think, for everyone involved.
Where do you operate from?
So we're supported by King's Cross Theatre, KXT Bakehouse, so that's where we held our Cabaret last month, which was our big launch event as part of the Mardi Gras Festival, and we're looking forward to hosting another Cabaret with them in Pride Month.
Tell us about that Cabaret that was a sellout and your first production.
So it was called Fruit Cocktail, a queer cabaret.
Of
course, how could we not? It was right there. And it was a fantastic night. We were lucky enough to have etc. The amazing drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race MC the event. And we had a lineup that was super diverse. We had musical theatre performances, improv crew, we had stand-up comedians, we had acoustic performances, we had a drag king and a drag queen. So it was a really celebratory night, and it sold out, as you mentioned, 2 weeks before the event, and the audience was so excited to be there. There was clearly such an appetite for these kind of celebratory queer experiences. We had a standing ovation, we had sing-alongs, everyone stayed back afterwards. It was a really great community environment.
So at the moment you are calling for writers and actors, queer writers and actors, for Sydney WorldPride to stage a show. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so we're currently doing a call out for our RIPE development program, which is our way of trying to bring together a group of writers and actors to create new work that speaks to them and speaks to what kinds of queer stories they want to be in the world. And so yeah, we're currently accepting applications. We're going to end up working with 5 writers and 10 actors through a 9-month development program with the aim of putting on as many works as possible when Sydney hosts WorldPride next year. So that's a really exciting end goal to work towards, but also we're committing to working with these writers and these actors to bring these plays to fruition whenever that happens. So, you know, really building on the values of community and rehearsals and catharsis that happens when queer people just come together and tell stories. We just want to bring together this community and let the magic happen.
Yeah, and we're going to facilitate that through development days throughout the year. So there'll be a series of workshops, improvisations, reviewing scripts. So the idea is that a writer can come to us with a draft script or even just a seed of an idea, and then collaborate and consult with their queer peers for the rest of the year and work it up into a finalised script that's ready to stage.
So you will have 5 finalists?
We'll have 5 writers. Yeah.
5 writers, 10 actors?
Yeah.
What are the criteria to be selected?
Yeah.
So the only criteria is that you're passionate about your idea, that you have a great idea, that you're willing to work with other people, that you're good at working in community, in group settings, and that you're passionate and are excited about the process. We're not looking for anything specific. We really want to see what people bring to us.
Yeah, we've had really impressive applications so far with people with great technical experience, and that's just super, super important. But the main thing is that the energy that you bring into the rehearsal room and the openness with which you approach other creatives.
So obviously you expect the writers, actors to identify as queer or to bring queer content onto the stage.
We would like all of the actors and writers to identify as queer. And we also really, really encourage applications from people with intersectional backgrounds, so people from different cultural communities, different abilities, etc.
And how will Fruitbox Theatre support their writers and actors throughout that process?
So the idea is that we'll work one-on-one with the writers throughout the entire process, having private meetings, chatting with them, workshopping problems that come up and really supporting them. Also bringing in industry partners and people who we value and trust in the industry to provide feedback and guidance. And then once those plays feel like they're at a place where it's time to get some actors in the room embodying the scenes, seeing what works, we'll then run development workshops where the actor can see their scenes being played out by a whole range of different actors in our program. And so everyone gets to sort of have a play with what works and see what works and you know, learn and develop the process through that.
Yeah.
And obviously there is no financial support, but do you steer people in direction of grant applications, give them guidance on that?
Absolutely, yeah. No, financial support is super, super important in the arts. And so we've already been successful in one grant application, and we're planning on using that to secure venues and other kind of rehearsal spaces that are going to support the actors and the writers to develop their works. Later down the track, when it comes to staging the works, we are committed to fundraising a budget to cover the production costs associated with that. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we're guaranteeing that the writers that produce plays that we can then put on at the end, that will happen, and that will be produced as a profit share model, which means that all of the actors in the program and the writers will come together to produce that final product at the very end, and that we'll sell tickets for that. And so the money from that will end up paying everyone involved. Yeah, unfortunately we can't pay everyone for all the development stages at this process. Yeah.
Wow, and the end is Sydney WorldPride 2023.
Yes.
A world stage.
World stage, indeed, yes.
So, apart from this very exciting development program that you are rolling out, and the deadline is the 17th of April, so there's not much time left.
No.
Is there anything else that you are working on Fruitbox Theatre? A new production you can talk about?
We'll be doing an encore cabaret in Pride Month with a bit of a twist, which will be revealed at a later date. And so that'll be similar to our first event. We'll have a really varied lineup, and it will be another celebratory, queer, joyful night at the theatre. So that's coming up in June. And then later down the track we will have more to announce, but that's it for now.
So how can people support you and find you and contact you?
Yeah, so you can find us on social media at Fruitbox Theatre. So we have Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You can also sign up to our mailing list on our website, which is www.fruitboxtheatre.com.au. And yeah, stay in the loop. We're looking for writers and actors right now, but at future points, we are going to be looking for producers, lighting designers, directors, and every other kind of theatre creative there is. And there's also going to be a lot of exciting projects coming up that people can buy tickets to. So yeah, if you follow us along on social media and our mailing list, you can be the first to hear about all of that.
And also, as we mentioned, we're super keen to give back to the community and connect with the community. So anyone who would like to hear more about us, or any similar organisations who'd like to maybe discuss a partnership, feel free to reach out. We're always keen for a chat.
Well, fantastic work you're doing. I'm so excited to see this all happening and starting here in Sydney. Congratulations on the launch of Fruitbox Theatre, and thanks for coming in
Thank
today.
you so much. It was great to chat.
If you enjoy Queer Conversation, make sure to subscribe to our channels. You can also head over to our website LOTL.com and follow us on all our social media. My name is Silke Bader, and thank you for your company.